Hi guys, it's me, TONIK TZW, and you've heard me say it many times before that I don't play battleships. I like my destroyers. So where this game came from, I don't know. But it is an absolute monster, as you can tell from that array of medals on the bottom of that splash screen. I've been asked a number of times if I can go through my ship builds, my captain's skills and inspirations, and I'll be honest, this is nothing special. It was just building something to try and find something that I was comfortable with, and it just turned out to be an absolutely awesome game. If you just want the replay, that starts at 8 minutes and 45 seconds. So this is the ship. It's a tier 7 premium French battleship. That was a campaign reward. Highlight of it is obviously she has the engine boost available to her, which makes this thing fast. So beware if you're a destroyer player if this thing is behind you. As far as specs go, 72,380 hit points, 19 to 430 mil armor, 48% torpedo damage reduction. That is a nice one to soak a couple of torpedoes if you need to. As far as main guns goes, 3 triple 380 mil turrets. These ones are out 17.5 kilometers with a 30-second reload, and this is why I built it. Secondaries out to 10.3 kilometers with 100 mil secondaries and 152 millimeter secondaries. AA defense is quite solid, rated at 94, and to be honest, I don't know why I don't play battleships a bit more, because I'm sick and tired of getting targeted by carriers. But there we go, out to 2Ks, out to 5Ks, you're going to mince aeroplanes. And here we go, maximum speed, 35.1 knots. That's faster than a lot of destroyers out there. Not too shabby on the turn and circle either, and you'll see it used well in this replay. Concealment? Who cares? It's a battleship. The minute you fire your guns, you're spotted, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Then moving across to our modules for this match, we've got the secondary battery mod 2, which gives us a 20% increase in firing range and a 20% reduction in dispersion. I said this was just full secondary build. It was crazy. And then we've got steering gears mod 2 to reduce our rudder shift time by 20%, just giving us that little bit of agility. I wish I'd have had the engine mod on here, though. You'll see why later. And because I didn't want to drop 3 million on the other modification, I was still running the target acquisition system mod 1, which increases our spotter range, torpedo detectability, which did help as well. And last but not least, secondary battery mod 3 to give us a 20% reduction in our reload time on our secondaries. So as we look around the ship, your main gun turrets are split with 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. You've got those 3 sets of 152 millimeter secondaries, which are 1 to the front and 2 to the rear, and then you've got 7 sets of the double 100 millimeter guns along the midships on either side. And like I said, I don't play battleships a lot, but to me the turret angles did seem fair, but you do need to swing out quite a lot to get that back turret on with the front guns at the same time. But those secondaries, if you've got a good angle going in towards another ship, they are going to kick off and light up and go absolutely crazy, and you're going to see a lot of that in this game. So on the information page, Wargaming have given us some basic facts about the ship, and I know they've been working through and updating some of these for some ships, but she is fast with an above average maximum movement speed, that is for sure. She does have nimble aim for above average main battery traverse speed, and full ahead can be equipped or is equipped with the engine boost, and that makes this thing an absolute dragster of epic proportions. I don't play a lot of battleships, and certainly French battleships is one thing that I don't play a lot of. So, apart from Zhao Jard, who I've got leveled up for his AP pen, I haven't really leveled up any of my other French captains. So this is Emile Geprat, who is at 13.2. His base trait is to increase our maximum battleship speed, and I think currently we're sat just above 35 knots. So if we were to have him all the way up at 16.4, we would be pushing probably another couple of knots on top of that. So these French battleships, when they get motoring, are very, very fast, and as a destroyer captain, I have previously been chased down by a French battleship, and it is not something that you want to happen, especially when they are running 10-kilometer secondaries. You cannot get away. So if you do see one of these things running you down, you might want to consider finding cover or just resigning yourself to being back to port within the next couple of minutes, because that's going to be how it is. Now, as you all know, skills-wise, I rarely run meme builds or anything like that. I try to find something that works for me, and with this one, I thought I just want to go something all-out brawler. So the first one we've got is not the one for nuisance, because it reduces our chance of catching fire and flooding from torpedo damage. We've then gone for porcupine to give us secondary guns range, grouping and reduced dispersion, and we're going to use that to best effect in this upcoming replay. The secondaries are going to go nuts. Now, I just threw something on this one because I wasn't quite sure, but main battery reload dropped by 5%. Okay, it gives me a little bit extra on the main guns in a brawl. Doesn't really matter about the detectability time because I'm going to be in their face. They're going to see me. We've got Properly Meticulous down in the 4th slot to reduce our secondary battery reload time and to increase our enhanced secondary target duration. So when we hit that button, it's going to give us a lot more shells on the target while it's running. And then because Wilt the Rebuild has been nerfed and I wasn't sure whether or not a team would follow me and anybody would be there for Wilt to Rebuild, I put on Fight Fire with Fire, which everybody seems to say is the one to be using now. But again, because I'm only, 13.2 there, I've only got 9% reduction. We'll have to see how that works once we get it higher. And then inspirations wise, we're running Von Hipper, who's at 16.3 for secondary guns range and secondary guns grouping. He's obviously always going to be a commander for secondary guns on your inspirations. And then because I have built a full secondary build, we've got no accuracy in the main guns whatsoever. So I've thrown Andrew Cunningham on there to give us some main battery shell group, and you could put Scharnhorst in there for dispersion. I'll have to try that another time, but nothing special here. This is it. This is the bit that you've all clicked that link to come here and see. It is going to be an absolute mad match. It is a Mad Max mad match in a high speed, fire spitting, armor piercing, citadelling French battleship, and you'll notice that this one doesn't go in reverse at the start of the match. So that's the first thing to point out here, is that I am going forwards and I am going to B-cap, while the two players that spawned with me, Crayon Eaters, have decided to take a hard right and head across to C-cap. The guys across on A-cap seem to be stacking up behind the hill there, and the guys across on C-cap have stacked up behind the island as well. So it doesn't look like a very good start to this game, and I'll be absolutely honest. Looking across there and seeing a Jean Bart, there's also going to be an Atlantico. There's also going to be a Hipper. There's only one destroyer in this game. I don't think it would have played out this way if we'd had a destroyer on each cap. But I decided that I'm going to try and cap. And I'm playing this part of the game as I would sometimes play a destroyer. Not every time, so don't think I'll do this every time on this map, on this cap. But this is literally, I am getting the lubricants running through the engines of this ship and getting the engines up to temperature, giving my turrets a bit of a turn to get that grease into the turret rings, because as soon as we have this cap, we are going to go crazy. And people who play battleships all the time are going to be watching this screen and heading their hands and screaming, thinking, no, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why have you turned this way? Why have you turned that way? You shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing this. But let me tell you, right, I don't care. I find a way to play the ships that I make them playable to me and my style. I do go and ask advice. I won't just try and potato it every time. I will go out there and ask advice. And here we are, 3, 2, 1. It is time to go. The engine boost is on. We are off the lights, and this is the start of a drag race straight towards a Miyoko. And my brain is telling me straight away, I did have HE loaded there thinking there might be a destroyer here, but we switch across to armor piercing and we're turning, the Miyoko is turning broadside. I know that he wants to get torpedoes onto me. That is why he is sailing broadside. And while we wait for those guns to load, again, I'm expecting a salvo from the Jean Bart through the middle, but it doesn't come. So I turn in to this Miyoko, knocking his guns out, knocking his torpedo launchers out. We are a couple of minutes into the game. There's the torpedoes. There's my shot. Citadel, secondaries go wild. Triple medal, first blood, devastating strike, close quarters, and we're on the board with 39,000 damage. How is that for starters? Now I have myself a broadside Jean Bart. So his whole plan of pushing into that cap and bow tanking those crayon eaters at the back of the map, including the destroyer who sat in a blooming smoke screen, that's gone to a world of crap because I am on his flank. We chunk him there massively and the secondaries are onto him. We're pushing forwards and I kind of almost make a mistake here by going too fast because I underestimated how fast this ship actually goes. We've still got a broadside Jean Bart. I know that there's another ship across there behind the island. He can't get onto me, but I'm heading for the gap. Another salvo onto the Jean Bart. RNG kind of deserts me, but maybe it's just that my aim isn't that good, and also because we are running a full secondary build, we're not getting the accuracy that we need, even though he is only a few kilometers away. So we've slammed it into full reverse because I want to get a final shot on him, and look, now that he's low health, everybody else wants to have a go. We can't get all the turrets on, but I'm sure the back one will go over and give us the kill. We're getting incapacitation, but then pop, the fire burns him out. We are 2 kills into the game. 4.5 minutes in, 69,000 damage, and now we are going to go round the corner. This was the most crazy, wild move that I have ever made. I know there's a battleship there. It's the Atlantico. It's a Wallet Warrior with a full 17,000 doubloons worth of steel for me to smash holes through. He's got a secondary, good set of secondary guns on him as well. I can see the Hipper. I'm expecting torpedoes to come through that gap from the Hipper towards me. That Atlantico has nowhere to go. He's either broadside to me or he's broadside to the guys at the back of the map. The only thing he can do is try and do some damage and run, but that is not going to help him at all. The secondaries on this thing, the way I have it built, are absolutely bonkers, and he is gone. Kill number 3. Hipper, you're next, mate. You're next. It's as simple as that. We are 3/5 of the way towards a Kraken. And the Hipper, in my book, is going to be next. I'm trying to get my turrets round. I am expecting torpedoes, but I want to push in and take this cap as well. I've already taken a solo cap in a friggin' battleship at the start of the game. But there's the Hipper, the secondaries on him. I'm trying to get this rear turret around. I'm going to let that fire burn, because I am sure that I can put this guy out of the game and back to port, because I don't think by any means he was expecting me to come through here. But there we go. After doing a lot of the damage there, the Talon picks up the kill. Our destroyer is still sat in his smokescreen, having lost the majority of his hit points. And I'd love to know how that happened, because it doesn't appear that there's a destroyer on this side of the map. The only real thing that was there to go against him, if he knew anything about playing destroyers, was the secondaries from the Atlantico. And surely, if he saw something the size of a battleship pushing towards him in the capture point, he would have backed out, because I know I would have. So there we go. Now, the rest of the players are pretty much up at the top end of this capture point. I unfortunately rolled out of the capture point and wasn't able to get an assist. I think this would have been an even bigger, perhaps a 4K base XP game, if I'd had that Hipper and managed to stay on that cap. It was literally a second on it before we rolled through, which was really disappointing. So that's my mistake of this game, is letting those guys cheese a kill away from me and rolling out of the cap with a second to go. So I decide that this thing is fast. I want to be on the flank. I've used one of my heals to pull back some hit points, and now we are going to try and push a flank. And the message pops up that the enemies are in B. That tells me that the destroyer has made its way across. We've lost the guys that were across on A cap. There's the Fletcher. He's just in range of my secondaries. But then I see an Iowa and my heart sinks, because there is no way that I think I am going to survive against an Iowa. I actually didn't think that I was going to survive the first 5 minutes of that game because of where I was positioned and the ships that were there on my right flank. But the Bismarck out there is popping shots at me. The Iowa has gone bow in. And then I see the torpedoes off to my port side, and I'm thinking, no, I have completely screwed the pooch now. But our Fletcher is playing Ring of Roses with their Fletcher, and I make the decision that I'm just going to have to suck it up, buttercup, because if I keep going in a straight line, I'm eating murder fish. And the only other option is to give up a broadside to the Bismarck in the Iowa. It could have ended very horribly right there, but the Iowa was looking straight across towards B cap, and now those secondaries are going off at this guy, and look at them go. They are crazy. We avoid the torpedoes. We let the secondaries do the work while we let the main guns reload. This is all tactical. Kite, 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 wait for the moment to turn and do the damage. 124,000 damage, and I was thinking, this is crazy. What on earth is going on here? I don't know what the rest of the team are doing. They all seem to be staggering around drunk, following each other. And I just decided, let's go for it. That is kill number 4. I missed the Hipper. That would have been a Kraken there with a couple of seconds to spare on that Hipper. 140,000 damage. There's still the Fletcher, there's still the Bismarck, and there is still Inigato out here. There is the Fletcher. He's just outside of the range of my secondaries, but the New Orleans managed to pick up the kill there, and now we have a broadside Inigato. Again, dispersion is awful on this with the build that I have, so what we're going to do is close the guy down and get those secondaries working on him. We pick up a high caliber 4th medal of the game as we break through 150,000 damage. The Inigato is going to close me down, and to be frank, at this point in the game I was thinking, do you know something? I'm going to have a Kraken one way or another. I'm either going to kill you or I'm going to ram you. I don't care, because we have this one in the bag. And I know it sounds really cheesy to pick up a Kraken with a ram, but I don't play battleships. I was going to take whatever I could. But we hit him and take a Confederate. We are really going to work on this red team. And I would love to have known the reaction of some of these guys on what they thought about this Mad Max Flandre tearing around the map, ripping the team to pieces, because it's probably one of the best battleship games I've ever played. Negato's trying to get all his guns onto me. My secondaries are still going at him. Here we go, through the front. How do we do? Boom! Kraken unleashed 130 on 172,000 damage. That was absolutely crazy. But we are not done yet. That Bismarck is nearly full health, and the thought in my head is he's going to come down here towards the center of the map and try and use his secondaries to pick up some kills. So I decide to do a 180, thinking I'll turn back around and come back up this left side of the island. But this is where keeping an eye on the mini-map pays dividends for me, because I realise that he's changed direction and he's actually coming round to my side of the island. So I'm swinging it back around, trying as hard as I can to get round so that I'm not broadside when he comes round that corner and gets his guns on me. We put our secondary targeting onto him. We've used both our secondary boosters, but here we go. He is broadside to me. His guns are looking at me. We get the first shot in. We pick up a few hits on the island, but that's nearly a 12,000 hit point punch that he takes to the gut. The secondaries are working on him now, and here as well we break 200,000 damage. This is a personal record for damage and base experience, which is why I was bouncing on the sofa as I'm running this guy down, and I'm thinking, mate, you can either kill me, or I can kill you. I can't get a citadel for the life of me. We've got a back turret. Let's put that one out there. I know it's that whole turtle back armor thing. The secondaries are working. He's nearly dead. I'm certain that somebody out there in the middle of B-cap is going to not kill snipe, but collect this kill right at the last moment. Damage repair. We've lost a turret. We've only got one turret at the front with 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds left to go. Here we go. Can we get it? Boom! There it is, the kill shot, kill number 6. We pick up a dreadnought with that one as well. This is the biggest screen I've had in a long time. 216,414 damage, 6 kills, should have been 7, 404 secondary gun hits. That was mental with 13 fires. We get the Kraken, we get First Blood, Confederate, Close Quarters, Dreadnought, Dev Strike, and High Caliber. I was shaking after this one. That is how a battleship should be played. Moving on to the team screen, the medals don't even fit across the top there. 3,397 base XP. That's 1,300 over second place, which is the Talon that took that bloomin' hipper kill from me. But I'm not going to gripe about that one, because this video is awesome. And I say that because it is 626,000 credits, which is a great amount to be pulling it away from a game like that. I'd love to know if you were in that game and part of it, either on the blue team or on the red team. Please, guys, smash that like button. Tell your friends, get them across here. If you haven't done already, please do hit that subscribe button. Help me on the way to that 1,000 subscribers. This has been an absolute blast. So hang around, click one of these links and watch some more. Until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.